Caren Glasser here, and welcome to Caren Glasser Live. I welcome guests from all across the globe who entertain, wow, and excite us, and today is no exception. So whether you're here live or on replay, make sure you say hi in the comments, and I'll say hi right back. Today, I am welcoming Lisa Harrison to the show. She's a singer, songwriter, actor, and vocal coach. She co-starred on the Waltons, as well as other films, TV, and theater. She does voiceovers and commercials. She's TV, films, animation, as well as a master vocal coach. Phew, I'm exhausted. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you. That was a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. And what I didn't say is that we are high school friends.
That's right. Junior high school friends.
Yes, junior high school. Oh my God, you're right. Junior. Oh my God, now I'm feeling old. Totally feeling old. But you know what? We should all look as good as we do at this age, right? There you go. Lisa, I'm so excited that you're on the show today because we're talking about music. And we're going to talk about how music, speaks to the soul. I always like to say that music is the universal language. It talks to those who might otherwise not hear, not understand. All they have to do is listen to the melodious notes and they'll get what it's all about. We're talking about music, though, being the soul to joy. So tell us a little bit about what that means to you.
Well, think about it. If you went to a movie and it had no music, imagine seeing Jaws and you didn't have to. It really underscores our life. And you remember the songs that you grew up with, and when you hear them again, it brings you right back. You remember the ones you fell in love with. You remember the breakup ones, the ones that soothed you. And
it's true. It's true.
And it's interesting. One of my favorite lines is from a Bruce Springsteen song. And he says, "I learned more from a 3-minute song than I ever learned in school."
Oh, I love that. I love that. I don't know if you saw Bucky, as we call him. Buck Weber says, "Hi, Caren and Lisa." Hey, Buck, I'm so glad that you joined us today. I'm thrilled that you joined us today. So we're going to jump right in. And if you're just tuning in right now, we're talking to Lisa Harrison about my favorite topic and hers, music. So I talked about the fact that you're a vocal coach, but you're a master vocal coach. What does a vocal coach do? And before I even do that, I want you to notice that Lisa's not just sitting here in an interview format. She's sitting at her piano because guess what, guys? She's going to sing to us. She's going to sing for us. And so I am really excited about that. So I'm going to actually put myself down in the corner over here so that you can come on the screen. And let's talk about what a master vocal coach does. What does vocal coach do?
Okay. Well, it's very interesting because you can sing and sound great and over time actually hurt yourself if you don't know the technique to keep yourself healthy. And so I have worked with master teachers. I've worked with ear, nose, and throat doctors. I've worked with everything to really know how the instrument works and how to keep it healthy. And really, we come into the world knowing how to do it right. If you've ever heard a newborn baby cry, they can do it for hours and hours and hours. They never get laryngitis. They never get a sore throat. Why? Because they are breathing correctly. They're really filling their lungs properly, and everything comes freely up and out.
Love it.
So what I teach, the most important thing is to do it correctly to keep you healthy. And then you do it the rest of your life without running into problems, as so many people do. Adele, Sam Smith, Julie Andrews. I mean, it just goes on and on.
That's right. We hear about it in the news all the time. They're on vocal rest. They can't sing. Can you sing for us right now? Show us a sample of what it would be like. Well, I don't want you to ruin your voice to do this. What it would be like to not sing properly and what you actually help people do in terms of where they should place the sound.
Good question. People squeeze right here.
Mm-hmm.
They think if they squeeze here, they can get that note out. And it's the opposite. Your body does the work, never your throat. You want to make that throat as open as possible.
Right.
Thus the sound goes up and out. So it is the diaphragm, it is your support. And then I have a secret way to even give you extra support. So the body is doing the work. Singing is a physical sport.
Love it.
And so what I do is I work with people who want to stretch, want to increase their range, do different styles. I work with people who've had vocal problems, who've had nodes. I worked with one woman who couldn't speak louder than a whisper.
Wow.
And was able to get her chords going and able to fix that. So that's what I love about it. And I'm so passionate about it because our bodies are amazing. And singing is joy. To me, singing is just joy.
It is. It's joyful. You know, one of the things I like to say is everyone can sing. Some better than others, but everyone can sing. So Lisa, sing us a little something.
Oh, all right. Well, we have different styles, different things we can do. We are storytellers. Anybody artistic is a storyteller, whether you're a ballet dancer or a cellist, a singer, an actor. 50% of singing is acting. So I love telling stories. And I have something that I wrote, and I'll just do a little snippet for you.
Perfect.
That I want to dedicate it to everybody that we have lost this year, because it's been a challenging one. In a perfect world, you'd be here now. There'd be no pain, no wait for grace. In a perfect world, the clouds would part and we'd feel the sun. Love would overflow in the hearts of everyone. In a perfect world. In a perfect good night, sleep tight. Good night, sleep. In a perfect
That is so beautiful. And you wrote that.
I did. It's the whole rest of the song you didn't hear, but we've got limited time here.
I know. That is really, really beautiful. One of the things that I find fascinating about you is that you don't just write music, you wrote a musical.
I did.
I mean, who does that? You do that. Tell us about the musical. What is it about? And maybe you can sing a little snippet from the musical.
Oh, all right. I wrote a musical that is a mashup of Celtic and rock and roll. And there have been rock musicals and Celtic musicals, but not a mashup of both. So when you hear what I'll play you a little bit of the first song. Imagine bagpipes and massive drums and crunch guitar. It's all mashed up together. That would be the bagpipes, and it is really a story of a young boy faced with challenges and becoming a man, finding out what is important to him. Above the moors in Scotland, that's where the Highlands lie. It's between Aberdeen and the Isle of Skye. Yet the funniest place you've ever seen is where I come from, my home called though our beds are filled with feathers and the roses, and the rains wash the dusty sky, with lots of mother's milk and lots of shepherd's pie. So come to us, Dean, and you'll see why. So
I mean, your range is amazing. Your range is amazing. And for those of you who are listening and just tuning in right now or on replay, what we mean by range is that Lisa can sing way up there high and way down there low. And that's unusual. I mean, that is unusual. Most people either like are a soprano or an alto or something. You are everything.
You know what I'm finding through teaching, though? I got to tell you, most people have a bigger range than they know. Just nobody has taken them there.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, I'd love to show you sometime. We'll have to do this on our own because you're a great singer and great.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that because back before I became a cantor and was singing liturgical music, which was very much soprano in a voice that I had never sung before, I was a Linda Ronstadt fan. And what did? I did exactly what I wasn't supposed to do. I belted out these songs in the wrong place. And when I turned my life around and ended up doing something completely different, I ended up being quite the accomplished soprano and did not know it. And in fact, most people don't know me at this point other than just singing soprano. So I totally understand what you're saying because it's true. And again, going back to, we all can sing. We just need a teacher like you to bring it out.
I will show you, Ed, singing really low. You can do all this, but you can also do, let's see if I pick a high, I'll just do a little bit of this. Each night, each morning,
Wow. Wow.
You can go up that high.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Don't tell anybody how.
It's fun. It's actually fun to go up there and just let the notes just flow, totally flow.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the Waltons.
Yes.
One of my favorite shows, TV shows, back in the 70s. I remember watching it. And then we got out of high school, and then next thing I know, you're co-starring on it. What was that like?
It was very interesting because the fans of Waltons, either it reminded them of their family or it's the kind of family they wish they had. Well, I was one of the fans that I wanted to manifest a family like the Waltons. So I just manifested the Waltons. It just was incredible. And the nicest people, the most welcoming, wonderful set. Sets are very different. You can walk in and cut the tension with a knife, or you can walk in and it's welcoming and it's warm and people are lovely. And that's how it was on set there. And I love.
And you're still connected with them. You're still connected with the fan clubs and the organization itself. I know you go you're supposed to be somewhere, right?
Yes, there are national and international Walton Fan Clubs. And my daughter, who actually played my daughter on the show in the movies of the week that followed during the 80s, with the two of us go to Schuyler, Virginia, where the original where Earl Hamner grew up. They've now renovated that. There's a bed and breakfast there that's just lovely. And we're going to go in November, and I go periodically and I sing. And they are just the greatest people, greatest fans. So it helps it really live on as it does. It's played every single day. And I love singing for them. They're just.
I love it. We have a question. Buck wants to know, did you study opera?
I did an opera, and when I was studying at UCLA, I guess I studied a little bit there, and I did one opera, and it was so much fun, and I love singing like that. But I'd rather, for me, do something like Phantom of the Opera. I'd rather do a musical than a straight opera, though I appreciate it so much. I'm too much of a goofball. I don't know that I can.
So you mentioned musicals. What's your favorite? What's one of your favorites? I know you probably don't just have one. What's one of your favorites?
West Side Story, Godspell. Godspell is my favorite show I ever did. I did that at UCLA.
Love Godspell.
And it is the most joy. Stephen Schwartz, I love you. I would think West Side Story.
Yeah.
And
so what do you think about the fact that they're coming out with or is that a subject we do not want to get into?
It'll be very interesting to see Steven Spielberg's take on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't do Sound of Music over. You can't do Mary Poppins over. There's certain, you can't do Wizard of Oz over. There's certain things that are kind of sacred.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting to see how he modernizes it, because really the story is just as true today. The divisiveness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, well, we could get into that.
Yeah.
So I see why it's so prevalent and important to do that story, but there is an innocence about it from the time it was written. And I hope that he is able to retain that.
Yeah, me too. You know, you were talking about how music and storytelling go hand in hand. One of my favorite musicals is Pippin.
I love Pippin.
The stories that the music tells, Corner of the Sky and Magic to Do. I mean, I think of those songs as classics. I don't think I've actually seen it recently even being done anywhere.
They changed it. They modernized it. Now I saw it on Broadway. A friend of mine was starring as Pippin, and I was in the last row of the theater, and I couldn't even talk afterwards. It was like I was so verklempt, and I loved it so much I can't tell you. Now they've modernized it, and I'm just an old-fashioned girl. I like the original better than how they have updated it.
But same music? Did they change the music?
No, the music is the same, but they've made it darker.
Oh,
and it's almost like if you go dark, then it's hip. What I am doing in my musical called Kidnapped is I want to bring back like Rodgers and Hammerstein. I want to have it where there's something there for every age, the way Lion King is, and the way Wicked is. You could be any age, and
that's my second favorite. That's my second favorite.
There's a lot of darkness in this. It's called Kidnapped, but
the message is so. It's another one where the message, like West Side Story, is so clear that good is not always good, and evil is not always evil. There is an intersection. I've seen Wicked, I think, 6 times. Every time it comes, I go and I watch it. And For Good is one of my favorite songs. And Defying Gravity. Yeah, we should sing For Good one of these days.
Let's do it again. Of course. I love Stephen. And Winnie Holtzman wrote the book, who I just love and adore. But see, that's what I absolutely love. I'm just passionate about all different ways of expressing, with storytelling, with music, with acting. And I love acting. I love doing voiceovers and cartoons and things.
So tell us about that. You do voiceovers, you do cartoons, you do how does that work? I mean, and when you sent me information over, and one of the things you said was, nobody really knows who the people are that are doing the voiceovers unless they're a very, very high level A-lister celebrity, but you do voiceovers. So what is it like being faceless and being the voice and having your voice actually create the character, because it's the voice.
Well, you know how we could have like pajama pants on right now, and you're doing any kind of voice.
Tell anyone.
No makeup.
Right.
You can wear anything you want. It's so freeing, and I love outrageous characters, so I love cartoon work, and I've known and studied with Bob Bergen, who is the master of voiceovers. There's nothing he can't do. He's the voice of Porky Pig, and has been for a million years. He does a million voices, and it is the most fun I think I've ever had, is being in his class and being free and just growing and it's so wonderful to be able to have the freedom to go off your nut and have fun. And I've always done it. I would walk around doing voices and dialects my whole life, and I'd walk in and be doing something, and my mom would say, "Can't you just be normal?" Yes, I loved it. I guess I always.
That's funny.
I was always singing, playing guitar, playing piano, doing voices. It's just it becomes just, I think,
What's a favorite? What's a favorite voice that you did?
Oh, well, I really like this one. And she's a mother, and she really has a very good time being a mother, but she's so busy that she's a bit scattered. Oh, dear.
Love it. Oh, my gosh. It is definitely a talent. And I think because you're a musician and you're a singer, I think it also has to be that you have a good ear for the dialects and you have a good ear for accents and things like that. I can sing Hebrew. That's my thing. And people will always stop and say, "Are you Israeli?" You know, that kind of thing. It's no, because I just happen to know what the dialect is and what it's supposed to be for Hebrew. But you have a special gift. You have a special gift. You do.
You can talk like this from mother country, you know, when USSR was existing. And who knows, we may be part of USSR before we know it if things don't change. That's what I have to say. But, yeah, I love it. It was fun to kind of work a little bit on a Scottish accent, because I'd always be doing Irish, and the Scottish is different, you know, and they roll their R's and they do this, and I love it.
So you're known as a master vocal coach. I want to put a screen up right now, and I'm just going to put it on solo for a second. Yeah. And I know it's kind of hard to read, but I really like this. You have, by Backstage Magazine, best vocal singing coach in Los Angeles. That's quite a title. That's quite a lot of recognition. And by the way, as you're watching this, you'll notice that a link to Lisa's website just populated in the comment section, because I have to believe that there are a lot of people out there that, if only given the opportunity, would, work their chops.
I'll tell you, it's so exciting to see people who didn't think they could sing and find out they could, or thought they could only sing this much, and then they find out they could do this. And I found out that really teaching online works beautifully.
That was going to be my next question, because in this world that we live in, you pivoted, because and if you go to your website, you'll see all these beautiful people that are standing in your living room, and you're playing and they're singing. And here we are, since March, it's September already. You are now teaching online. You're doing it virtually. So for all of you that are listening to this saying, "Well, I don't know, I can't go to Lisa's place because Lisa lives there and I live here," you don't have to go to Lisa's place anymore. You can visit her virtually. And I do also think that we need to make very clear that vocal coaching is not just for singing. It's right. It's not just for singing, although most people do it because they want to sing, but it's also preserving the voice. And for those teachers who have to use their voice all the time, especially now on virtual, you help people preserve and save their voice, right?
Oh, absolutely. And for actors too, who want to make sure that they're really using their voice correctly. I've helped a lot of them. It really is extraordinary what you can do when you learn how to do it. I've worked with life coaches, people who want to be able to do public speaking.
Right.
It's just fun. It's exciting. The interesting thing about this is I'm waiting. I heard it's in the works that when we speak, we don't hear that there is a delay. But when we are doing music, there is a slight delay. Mm-hmm. And so it was a matter of learning how to do warm-ups together without sending them a tape of me playing.
Right. There's definitely a delay. There's even a delay in the show that we're doing right now, because it's the internet. So the things that we're saying right this second, they're going to hear in about 10 seconds.
Oh, that long?
Yeah, and that's the streaming world. That's the streaming world because, well, and it's always been that way, but it got a little bit worse with everyone being online all at the same time. But yeah, there's definitely a delay. So it changes the way you communicate. It changes the way you talk, the way you teach when you know that in the background. What is a tip that you'd like to share with our audience? Something that they can take away. It doesn't have to be music, but what is it that you impart on our audience that's important to you?
Okay, having to do with singing or beyond?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Because I could show you so many tips with singing, which I love. We'd be here all day. I think a tip that goes beyond singing is to really be in gratitude, even though we're in lockdown, even though we have the decisiveness that is happening right now in our country, to be grateful for the gifts that we do have, to be able to love the people who think differently than we do, so that we have unity. And we've gotten away from that. My tip is find it in your heart, because I am very political. I'm very strong with my beliefs because I'm such a patriot. I love this country. But what I love is how different we all are. And we're more the same than different. And that is my tip, is to be in that state of love.
I love that. Gratitude.
And
gratitude is what it's all about. What's your superpower? Do you have a superpower?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Invisibility, flying. Yeah. I think my superpower is ideas. I've always been an idea person.
Wow.
And if somebody has something, I will come up with an idea that I think, well, let's try this, let's try that. For instance, we have fires here in California. 100 million acres are burning. I have friends who have lost their home. And then everything burns and the rain comes and then we have mudslides. We have so many states that are flooding with these hurricanes and these monsoons, everything that's happening. So my idea is a national pipeline. We can build it through 3D pipes that connect to sewers, huge, giant ones, where there is charcoal and rocks to clean the water. And if you know something is coming to your state and a dam might break or this might come, look at what's going on in New Orleans. You open the national pipeline and it literally, and it can be done with solar energy. We pump this water away and send it to areas in the country that have droughts. We've lost, 100 million trees in California? Yeah. We need that. We need the water that they have too much of. And if there's no place that needs it, you clean it and put it out to sea.
Agreed.
So I don't know how to make it, but my superpower is I'll come up with an idea for it.
I love that. I love that. Buck says, in this day and age of budget cutbacks in public education, and you were in front of a school board preparing to cut the music program, what would be the one takeaway for them to have to get to try and convince them not to cut the program? What would you tell the board?
I think I would quote Winston Churchill, who was told that very thing in World War II, that they need to cut the arts. And he said, then what the hell are we fighting for?
Oh, wow. I don't think I ever heard that. And that is powerful, totally powerful. And as I'm looking in the background of my screen, I realized we were going to talk penguin. So one of the things that Lisa and I have in common, amongst many gazillion things, is that we collect penguins. And that's a gorgeous one. That's beautiful. Where's that from?
My friend Caitlin Peterson gave me this, and it actually has a little younger brother or sister that's over there. But
I love it. I totally love it.
You have an amazing amount of penguins.
We both agreed that we do not need any more. No housewarming gifts, no guest gifts when you come to visit us, whenever that happens, that people can actually visit us. No penguins. Lisa, what is one last thing you want to share with our audience? We're at the end of our time. I can't believe how fast this went, but I am so appreciative of you. Is there anything last that we did not talk about? Well, there's a lot we didn't talk about that you'd like to share before we say goodbye.
Find your joy, find your purpose in life. There's a zeitgeist going on right now where everybody's kind of tired and a little low-level depression. Find the joy, garden, go be around water, whether it's a lake or an ocean, or put a little baby pool in.
I love it. I love it.
With nature, it's so important.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
That would be it.
I'm sure you've enjoyed this show. We have lots of shows living on CarenGlasser.live. Lots and lots and lots of shows. Go check it out over there and follow us on social media at Caren Glasser on Twitter, at Caren Glasser on Instagram, at Caren Glasser Live on Facebook. And there's a pattern there. Caren Glasser, just go search for it and you're going to find me because I'm all over the place. You can't get rid of me. I'm all over the place. Lisa, thank you.
We'll be back and sing together. How's that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do that. Let's make a promise. You now heard it here first, so we can't go back on that. I want to thank you for your time today, but I also want to thank our audience because you have a choice as to how you spend your time, and you chose to spend it with us today. So go out and give somebody an awesome day, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Caren Glasser Live. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.